Bird strikes can definitely come with economic losses to airline if an engine or any other part of the aircraft is badly affected. But above all, airport authorities have to work hard at ensuring the runways and their surroundings do not become a breeding ground for birds. That's from our guest, who is an engineer and an airline administrator.
It is the responsibility of FAN to make sure that birds are kept out of our airports. And in most cases, it is where in other part of the world, they take it as a daily routine, where they have gadgets, they have instruments in which they use to remove birds around the runways, around the airport. But most important thing is that let those airports environment be clean, because birds can only thrive when you have a dirty environment, because they will come there and feed and whatever. And my appeal to FAN is to step up whatever they are doing in the past, which they have been using to repel those birds away from the runways, away from the airport environment. I can't see in the last 1 year whether they have carried out such operation, especially at MMA2 or at international. I can't remember that I've seen. And I know I go to the ramp, I go to the airport twice in a week at least. I go there, I have not seen such operation. If you look at all the airports that we have now that is viable, that aircraft and airlines are using in and out for the operation. Okay. It can be so dangerous, especially if it is the engine that has been affected and it has a flame out at the end of the day. A flame out means that the engine stopped along the line. And if, for example, if it's a twin engine aircraft and it affected the two, that's a catastrophe. And if it's only one, the next thing is to look for the nearest airport to land. Like, bird strike is not something we should pray for, it's not something we should allow to happen. But then if it does happen, the pilots are trained, and some of these design preparation of those aircraft parts and whatever, this area that are so sensitive to that, so designed that they should be able to absorb some of these shock. But then, if at the end of the day it happens, the best thing for the pilot to look for the nearest airport to land. It's not an abnormal thing. It's for the safety of the aircraft and the passengers at large. So they are just being cautious, because if it is something that the pilots can continue his flight to the aircraft is going or wherever, it will have proceed, it will go ahead with the flight. But because it doesn't know what has happened outside, we want to be safe. We want to make sure that the passengers that is carrying is also safe. The best thing is to return back to where he has taken off, especially if it's so close. At the point, if it's at the point of taking off that thing happened, the best thing any good pilot would do is to return back to that airport for safe landing, so that the aircraft and the passenger will be safe. Most of the things you are seeing on the aeroplane, none of it that you can buy in Naira. So what that means is that anything that happens on the aircraft, you have to source for foreign exchange. So, for example, engine. A good engine that will last for 6,000 seconds will cost you between $1 million to $1.5 million, depending on the limiter that you have on the engine. When I say the limiter, it's the number of cycles that one of the parts we have to be used before the next overhaul. So, for example, if you have that damage and it affected the engine, and you have to take it to repair shop. So it depends on the level and which of the parts that have been affected. Minimum repair that you have, if you have such a situation, between $500,000 to $1 million. And you can see something you didn't plan for. Although you will say at least it's part of your insurance policy that have been embedded into it. But then it's not every time that insurance comes into play into most of these things.
The Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority has ordered Ethiopian Airlines to stop the collection of add-on charges and surcharges from passengers without obtaining prior authorization from the regulator. In a statement issued by the agency, it reads that these unauthorized charges, referred to as refundable deportation fee, is put at between $75 and $150. According to investigation by NCAA, all outbound passengers to South Africa from Murtala Mohammed International Airport, Lagos, and Akano Ibiam International Airport, Enugu, transiting through Addis Ababa are liable to pay $75. However, if your transiting time is 24 hours or beyond, the passenger will pay $150. Meanwhile, Ethiopian Airlines has refuted the claim that it was collecting unauthorized charges on its route from Nigeria to South Africa. Bringing down the burden of costly aviation fuel is key to creating a conducive operating environment for airlines. The managing director of Medview Airline, Munir Bankole, believes that the federal government must resuscitate the country's refineries to change the situation. He was speaking at the recently held AGM of the airline.
And in terms of operating challenges, as you know, fuel, which have been a major part of which got over 30-40% of the operational costs. Today we are appealing to the government. One or two of our local refineries should be allowed to produce Jet A1. This will bring down the cost, and that will help the country and bring down the price for Nigeria to be able to fly at a reasonable price. We cannot continue to import Jet A1 because this is one of the serious factors that increase the fare.
35 aviation security officers from the Federal Airport Authority of Nigeria have recently graduated from a trainer's course as part of plans to develop human capacity, meet the highest standards of professionalism and best industry practices, in line with the provisions of the International Civil Aviation Organization, ICAO. At the event in Abuja, Honorable Minister of State Aviation, Hadi Sirika, said he will continue to encourage and promote knowledge development in every facet of the industry. He also promised to empower the graduates in every way legally possible, including equipping them with light arms. 1,268 Nigerians have so far voluntarily returned from Libya from December the 15th, 2016 to May the 16th this year. This is coming from the Deputy Director of Search and Rescue, Unimode Bandele. He was speaking as another set of stranded Nigerians arrived the country. He said there will be more evacuation of Nigerians by the International Organization for Migration until everyone is brought back.
The returnees today come from a particular community. They belong to a local government and they belong to a state. So it is our hope that the state government will take up the responsibility. So one, educate our youths on the danger associated with this kind of movement. It's not just enough to say the ones that are brought back, what are we going to do? What we should go further to say, the ones that are at home that are intending to go, we should discourage them as much as possible so that this excessive migration to and seeking greener pasture will, if it cannot be put to a stop, will reduce drastically.
A remembrance service was held for victims of Egypt Air Flight MS-804, the first anniversary of the accident. The plane crashed into the Mediterranean on May the 19th last year after taking off from Paris on the way to Cairo, killing all 56 passengers and 10 crew members of 18 different nationalities. The families welcomed such an activity at the memorial site, but they are still waiting for the investigation to determine what indeed caused the crash.
When we return after the break, Boeing breaks ground in China for its first overseas factory. Do join us again.